This episode was brought to you by Damian Ross Mortgages, helping homeowners and buyers understand how their mortgages shape long-term wealth, not just monthly payments. Book a free consultation for clarity before your next move.
Find your path with the knowledge of others and become an illuminator for those who struggle. Guide their way just by being true and being in alignment, because it comes naturally to you. On self-discovery wisdom, we share to find inspiration with lessons for millions. We hope you listen.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Mental Health Awareness right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. My wonderful guest today is Kassandra Hamilton. We're going to be talking about her two books, the one that she's written and one that she participated in. We're going to be talking about the whole thing about anxiety, exhaustion, disconnected, feeling unsure inside, all of that. We're going to be talking about that today. Her book, The Magic of Realigning from the Inside Out, because you weren't meant to just get through the day. And a book that she participated in is Cracking the Rich Code. But let's talk about her. She said she does this work because what it looks like to successful on the outside by feeling disconnected, exhausted, and unsure on the inside. After navigating burnout, grief, identity loss, and the pressure to hold everything together, she realized that real change doesn't come from pushing harder. Instead, it comes from listening inward, restoring safety, clarity, self-trust in the body and the nervous system. Today, she supports high-achieving women who are tired of living on the autopilot to reconnecting with their energies and boundaries and purpose so they can build lives that feel as good internally as they appear externally. Her message is simple but powerful. Alignment is something you remember, not something you earn. She is known as Kaz, an alignment coach, speaker, author, local singer-songwriter whose work is grounded in her background in global community health and lived experience of burnout and reinvention. Through the years working within the health system, she's witnessed how burnout, overfunctioning, disconnecting are often treated as individual problems than as systemic and nervous system realities. A perspective she shared in her own recent TED Talk, style talk. Insight became the foundation of her Inside Out framework, which she supports sustainable well-being by addressing regulation, boundaries, self-trust before performance, productivity, or purpose. So she helps the high-achieving women. She offers a Vedic head message by energy healing, sound healing, and works at Triple Moon, the downtown Nanaimo. Beautiful Vancouver Island, BC, Canada. Come on down. It's a wonderful place to come to. She's a volunteer with Restoring Justice programs for youth, supporting accountability, repair, and connection. And outside her professional work, she's a storyteller and a musician who writes and performs original music, hikes with her dog, and loves learning about new cultures through travel. There's a lot of things that she's giving away and going to be promoting today, but we're going to get right into it. Anxiety. It has so many faces, doesn't it, Kaz? It has the anxiety of performance, the anxiety, does anybody like me? The anxiety, do I belong? Just anxiety of societal pressures. Wherever we go, it's there ready to pounce on us. And it's how do we kind of turn around to it and go, hey, you don't belong. Welcome to the show, hun.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
So how do we face that anxiety?
Well, it's so interesting because someone once said to me, anxiety is worry about the future. Depression is, dwelling on the past. My brother, who suffers from some depression, always says, depression is deep rest. I need deep rest. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of always sat with me. But yeah, I think that just with the culture, like Western culture, we're so focused on what's next. Very
Mm-hmm.
rarely can you actually have a conversation with someone and say, what did you have for breakfast or what did you do yesterday? And that's gone. We're talking about tomorrow or next week. So if you're constantly living in the future, there's always going to be that sort of like anxious feeling. which
Mm,
is like a hollowed out like worry about what if. And then when we're constantly in a state of overwhelm and stressed out with all the information overload, it's no wonder people are feeling burnt out and, out of sorts with their inner world, right?
mm. How do you
Hmm.
keep an inside balance when the outside is a hurricane? And,
Well, that's a
that's where
really,
we're at right now, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Well, this is exactly what I want to help people with. Um, and so it's simple and it's not always easy because of the way that we operate, which is trying to produce as much as we can and be on all the time. But the power that we really have is in the pause.
Mm,
So that's what I say to everybody. The power is in the pause because you can't help when, for employees, for example, when someone gets fired and you have this extra workload, you can't help that. That's just what's happening in the system. But you can choose how you respond.
mm,
You can choose to have a boundary around what your capacity is. You can, recognize what's happening in your body, that there's no bear around that's going to be chasing you. It's just an email you weren't expecting about an organizational change. And you can choose to respond from a place of clarity and groundedness once you sort of understand the principles of your nervous system and how it operates.
I mean, you
So
can have a
powers in the
bear of a
pause.
boss,
Yeah.
right? You definitely can. But again, how you respond to that, there's I have a program view of life where the bear comes up. I'm not going to say what the bear represents, but it's I've literally come face to face with a bear and had a conversation with it. I wasn't a threat, so it wasn't a threat. And I think that
Mm,
don't let the things that want to appear intimidating intimidate you, right? We can take that power back by not letting it affect us.
absolutely. Yeah. And so I always say there's three ways to kind of do that, which is to regulate the body, to reduce your unnecessary load, and then to respond from a place of clarity. So that's really what the inside out framework is all about,
Mm,
is flipping the narrative from
mm,
responding and reacting to your external environment and letting that control you versus reacting from a place of choice and agency,
mm.
which is that pause, right? You can pause and actually choose differently. So,
When we say to people, take five, right? Just take a moment or pause, or let's breathe. And we are wired to react. And if we just take a breath and center ourselves, kind of the heart and the brain kind of connect to each other, is this really worth reacting to? Or is it just going to escalate if I do?
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. But also the deeper inquiry, like, why does this affect me?
Mm,
So I really love this tool by Tara Brach. She's an amazing psychologist and very compassionate in her approach and her teachings. And she talks about this acronym RAIN, RAIN. I don't know if you've heard of it.
no, not heard
Um,
of this one.
Okay, so the first one is recognize. So you recognize, okay, like I'm really angry right now. Someone said something in that meeting and I'm just like riled up. Everyone else seems fine, but I'm like really, really impacted by this. So take a minute, you pause. Um, and the R is for recognizing it, then the A is for accepting it. I always
Mm,
say emotions are like children, and if they don't get, I love your book too about the forgotten children, like
mm,
not addressing the needs of them, right? So if
mhm,
you ignore an emotion, it
mm.
shows up in your body, it screams louder, until you actually accept it.
Yes, it's there.
So, right? Yeah. So the A is for accept, and then you move into investigate, which is the I. And that's understanding, okay, I'm angry. I accept that I'm angry. It's here. Why am I angry? Oh, okay, that triggered something for me that reminded me of how my mom used to talk to me, for
Mhm,
example. And then the N is for nurture. So, how can I sit with that feeling and just really give myself the assurance that I need, reassurance? Because no one else in that meeting is going to do it for me. And it is my responsibility.
yes.
So, how can I hold my inner child right now? And honestly, emotions are meant to move through us. They are energy in
Mm.
motion. So if we create the structure for that, which is rain, it's a beautiful way to allow energy to flow and to be able to get on your day without sitting with that and letting it take over.
Yeah, I always say the emotions are there to indicate something, address it, spend the emotion, but don't become emotional of the emotion, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're inclined to do. I'm angry about something. And then at the end of it, you're so angry and you've forgotten what you really were angry about. You're just now set in anger and everything makes you angry. When you didn't spend it and finish, right? You kind of
Yeah.
relished it. And it's like, because now you've incited an emotion that's going to dictate everything else and just cause more anxiety. So spend the emotion and walk away.
Hmm. Absolutely. And again, that's how we take our power back, right?
Mm. I think for a lot of people, this is, I've been there and many people have been there, is that when somebody says something, which we know that is coming from them and their own reflection of themselves, but we kind of take it on as a reflection of ourselves. And then our own insecurity or lack of self-worth starts dictating something that really isn't there because it's the other person, not you. Why are you taking it on?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I don't know if you've read the Four Agreements, but I
Oh,
really love
yes.
coming back to that time
Yes,
and time
yes.
again because as a caregiver, I have had the tendency to take things on and take things personally.
Hmm.
And one of the Four Agreements is to not take things personally because people have their own experiences. And
Mm.
when you take it on, you are taking yourself out just by doing that and not having your own experience. It's hard though when people start to try to blame you or point
Yes.
fingers, right? But when you start to understand that that's really just a projection of like their own pain or whatever they're going through, and you can manage your energy a little bit better and have that boundary, it does become easier.
I mean, the four agreements: speak your word with integrity, right? I mean,
Hmm.
own what you are putting out. Don't take things personally because it's a reflection of where they're at. You do not have to take it on. Um,
Hmm.
do not assume, right? Inquire, right? Why are they feeling like that? Don't assume that, no, don't, that assumption kills. Inquire. What is it really about? Where is the real root cause of it? And then do your very best based on what you feel is your best, not somebody else's dictation of what is your best. They're four brilliant codes that when you live by them, they kind of keep you in a good equilibrium, don't they?
They do. Yeah. And it's one of those things, just like everything else, everyone's like, oh, you've got it figured out. It's like, no, it's a
Hmm.
practice. Like you keep
Yes.
coming back, you forget, you remember, like this is the
Yeah.
human experience.
Well, that's where the pause comes in. By taking that pause, those practices, don't take it personally, don't rise to the bait, right? Like maybe you should inquire, before you assume. And that pause allows us, as I said, to kind of catch up, with the heart and soul before the brain goes off and does something. And it just allows us to kind of really see what really is there rather than reacting.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's like taking that judgment and
Mm,
trading it for curiosity
yes.
because like you said, it does automatically just by doing that put us in a place of compassion.
Hmm. Now, I think compassion is a word that the world needs right now. A great deal of compassion and empathy. But, I'm always saying, for the shows I do, shows that I do with other people, is that in order to have compassion and incite people to step up to love and peace, we have to become the love and peace. We have to become the compassion. That means we've got to go inward and be compassionate about our own selves, things, choices we've made based on what we knew when we knew them, and now we know we shouldn't have done them. Don't beat yourself up about it. Now you can do better. But be compassionate with ourselves and not so judgmental or unforgiving, because how do we become the love and the peace if we are having turmoil within ourselves?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I'm really fascinated by words. So the root of the word compassion actually means suffering with. So
Mm,
we are together in it. So how can we meet people where they're at and
yeah.
then feel into that without taking it on, but just to
Mm,
understand each other better. And you're right, like everything we have to look at, it's our responsibility really to look inside and figure out what it is that we need to heal within ourselves and then project that from the inside out. For a long time, chased that external dream of becoming a doctor or starting an NGO, and I thought that that was how I would make a difference.
mhm.
But through working with First Nations over the last 10 years and my own personal growth journey, I recognize that especially in a world with so much uncertainty right now, the biggest change we can make and the most positive thing we can do is create that positive ripple effect from the inside out. Like it's
Absolutely.
huge. That ripple effect into the community and beyond is so powerful and so directly under our own control.
Empathy, understanding,
Mhm.
caring, kindness, love. But you've been through your own turmoil, and I say that it doesn't matter how educated someone is with a piece of paper. There's nothing like life experience. Life experience shows you what to do with that knowledge, how to apply that knowledge, or when that knowledge is just simply, you know, forget it. It's all about the experiences, the up and down, the roller coaster, the in and out, the things that slap us in our face, and how we approach it, what we do with it, what we become because of it. And so we've all been hit with something that we've got anxious about, depressed about, fearful about, but it isn't there to stay. It's there to challenge us, right? And if we are willing to go through that experience and become, then we truly actually understand our courage, our strength, our abilities, and our purpose because of that experience. But we've got to be willing to experience it.
And resilience, I would say,
Yes.
for, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. But
The big question
absolutely.
is how? How?
Well, what I often say to people is if you can't get out of it, how can you get into it?
Yeah. Face
And
it. Hmm.
yeah, face it and then just, sit with being in challenge. This last year has been extremely challenging for me in my life. And it's really understanding in life that there's like this duality. Like things can be great and things can be really challenging. And you can finding a way to hold both
Yeah.
and saying and instead of yes, but
Mm.
is an important way forward. Because if we ignore one again, they're like children,
Yeah.
these feelings. So yeah, it's like, how can I bring both of these things along while I'm moving through all of it? Creating space,
Hmm.
pausing, just being with yourself, presence.
Kind of
Hmm.
taking a pause to look back and go, my God, I actually came through that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like taking stock as you move forward and understanding the strength and the courage and the abilities that you are learning, that you are becoming, and that the
Hmm.
essence of you is showing you who you are. And the more and more we immerse ourselves into that, and the more and more in that self-discovery, we discover our wisdom and and just an expansion of knowledge that is beyond the brain. But it's recognizing those challenges. I got through that. Pause enough to say, look what I just did.
Right? And then have gratitude around,
Mm,
okay, I can be grateful for obstacles and
yes.
challenges. And I live by a park and I go and look at the stream often and I just love it because regardless of what I'm going through that day, it's always a good reminder to not push the river, that it
Yeah.
flows by itself around all the obstacles, but it's
Hmm.
still flowing and adapting and it's not rigid or black and white, it's
Mm,
like yes and.
hmm. But I'm glad you mentioned flow because I'm always going on and on and on about we are fluid creatures. The
Mm.
oxygen in our body, our blood, our chi, energy, the fiber optics in our body, everything has to be in movement. And it's when we become stagnant and stuck, that's when things start to break down because we're meant to be in fluid. So if we are feeling stuck, then being around a body of water that's in flow, being in the wind that clears and moves things aside, being around laughter and joy, it helps shift us forward back into the flow because we're not meant to be stagnant, are we?
Or alone. I
Yes.
think that we're really used to thinking, and it's easy. I get why, if we're all working from home now and things since COVID feel kind of just everyone feels on edge. I don't know. It's like this weird. I'm hoping we move out of that in this new end of the last 9 years was a cycle, and now we're moving into the year of the snake, or sorry, the horse,
Horse.
out of the snake
Neat.
into the horse. I'm excited for that. I can feel the energy starting to ramp up,
Yes.
but yeah, absolutely. We're not meant to do this alone. And um, being able to, one of the things I love the most is being in a group or facilitating because you start to see every person see themselves in
Mm.
other people's stories. And it's
Yes.
this really beautiful aha moment for people when they're like, I'm not alone. This is a common experience. Our ego keeps us separate, but really at the end of the day, we're all moving through these things together.
When we speak from experience and example, like you've navigated burnout, grief, identity loss, and the pressure to hold everything together. Who hasn't? But when we're going through it, we feel we're going through it all alone and nobody understands. And when you're around other people who are sharing those stories, and then it's like, well, this is how I got through it, or how did you get through it? Like, oh, well done, or bravo, or can I help you? That shared energy becomes a symphony, doesn't it? And it empowers us
Mhm.
all. But as you said, we're not, I do believe that we need to take onus responsibility for who and why and what we are. But that is so that we can bring the best essence of who we are to the collective.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And honestly, my first book, I didn't start out to write a book necessarily. I was just journaling about things I had learned and tools I had used to get there. And then I was like, wow, this could be impactful for
Mm-hmm.
someone else. And again, it was me thinking, who am I? The
Yep,
imposter syndrome of not wanting to put it out there. But I really believe for anyone out there, if you feel called to it, like everyone has a story to share. And who
mm-hmm.
cares if it's similar to someone else's story? You're going to tell it in your own voice. And that's
Exactly.
going to land differently for different people. So do it.
Two C's, don't compare, don't compete. You are
Yeah,
unique, even if your story parallels somebody else. This is your story. This is how you got through it. Do not compete. I've got to be bestseller. I've got to sell this. I got no. All you're doing is being beautifully vulnerable, which is a gift to self and to everyone else, sharing your journey, your hows. And I believe that inspiration begets invitation. And when people are inspired about what you've done, how you've got through things, what tools and skills you use to do it, then that's the invitation for them to apply themselves and help themselves on their own journey. That's when we feel we're not alone. Somebody understands.
absolutely. And this is why I'm a coach. Exactly why. Because when you can reflect back to someone something that they've shared with you and they feel understood, that just required active listening, really.
Yeah.
And what a gift, right? I want to be able to gift that to others so that they don't feel alone. And just coming back to, I know we're talking about mental health, and I really want to share that the first time this message came through to me about, it being my responsibility to share my work and my story with others, was when I wrote a song. I was 16. I was encouraged to put it out on a platform. Back then, it was called Pure Volume. And I was really resistant to do it because, of course, I was so critical and judgmental of my
Yes.
own work. But a year later, I had a girl reach out to me from Saskatchewan, and I had only put out two songs. It was a small demo. I didn't think anyone really was listening, but she said it helped her get through a really suicidal part of her life
Mm,
that
mm,
summer. And I was just like, I cried because it's like we get so stuck in our
mm,
own heads,
mhm.
but you never know the impact that you can have on another person until you're allowing yourself to gift your voice to the world. So again, for
Yeah.
anyone listening, just please remember that.
Yeah. And it's not about the numbers. I get this. Well, how many people listen to your shows? And I go, all those that are ready to hear.
I know I love when you say that.
Because it is about that. We can't dictate. We put it out there. Whom receives it, how they receive it, what they do with them is entirely on them. And if we do get feedback of an impact, and I have had that feedback, and it just has made everything worthwhile. If one person's life was pivoted for the into the right direction, hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's probably
Yeah,
more that I will never know about. It's wonderful. I know about a few of them. And that just is the encouragement that you're on the right track. Keep doing it. Right. The,
100%.
there's
Yeah.
I do my own show every week, and this week I was inspired by a quote, which then I decided to talk about, and it was, "Perhaps one did not want to be loved, but so much as to be understood." George Orwell quote.
Mm,
And I think that is so, it really stuck with me because we're chasing love all the time. Do you love me? Do you love me? As a validation. But really, when we feel understood, truly understood for who we are, no judgment, no ridicule, no dictation that you need to change, that in somebody truly understanding and embracing who you are is love.
it is. Yeah, I'm reflecting right now just about my partnership and how we go through things and always come back to this place of, okay, repair, and then how do we step into adoration of each
Mm.
other just as we are?
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier said than done, but it is simple, right? I always say that things can be things can be simple, but they're not easy until they are. So,
I think if we don't use our heads and we use our hearts, souls, and spirits, and we come from that place, it's simple, absolutely simple. If we get into our head and we ignore the heart, soul, and spirit intellect and wisdom, then we get onto this treadmill. Yes, but we want to sit on the butt. That's the only thing we want you to do with the butt.
yeah, yeah, I want to be right.
Yes, yes.
Right?
And that's a head thing, isn't it? That
It
is an
is.
insecure and a head thing, which, it's like, I think we have to be very, very conscious of what we're saying to ourselves and what we're saying about ourselves to other people.
Yes, again, this so comes back to words. I'm so fascinated with the
Mm,
root of words. Um, the word abracadabra, for example, means with my word I create.
mm,
So think about that, right? Like
yes.
we are saying things. We have a thought, becomes a word, becomes an action. That is our identity, our reality. So we are the magicians, abracadabra, of our life with my word I create.
Mm,
And I like to share that with people because we always think it's like magic is this like floofy thing that
yeah.
happens in fairy tales, but actually we are co-creating every single day.
And
So,
from that abracadabra, there has to be a desire, a passion, a reason behind it. It's not just throw it out there. It's like, I have a desire for this, to do this, to achieve that. Abracadabra, I will create it. But there
mhm.
has to be that substance behind it, not just words, but substance.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of people, once they understand themselves or have someone hold space to take them back to themselves, they can come up with their why, their values,
Mm.
trying to figure out like, why am I here? Because once you're clear on that, having the awareness of how to create that and the intentionality behind it, you're unstoppable. You are powerful, right?
Well, it's like your book has started as a journal. So you're journaling your ups and downs, your grieving, your loss, your anxiety, and everything else, and everything that's going around you. But through that, putting it on paper, reading it back, it also invites you to find the solution. Well, if this is
Hmm.
how I feel, what can I do about it? And now, years later, you put it in a book form where people can relate to how you feel. But what did you do? I want to know what you did. I need to, my motto for these shows is listen, learn, and apply. Because there's
Hmm.
always something you've listened to that you've learned that when you apply is going to pivot you in the right direction. But we've got to be proactive in our own discovery.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, be willing to share with others because what a waste otherwise if you
Yes.
go through all this hard work and there's nothing to show for it,
Right.
or to reach with. So the other book that I participated in is a collaborative of thought leaders that have gotten through some kind of challenge and had a personal growth lesson from it. And I talk about AI in my
Mm-hmm.
book because there's a lot of fear around AI.
Mm-hmm.
But the root of the word rich, cracking the rich code, which is the name of the book, is to reach. So, how
Yes.
can we reframe that sort
Mm-hmm.
of understanding of what it means to be rich, of having meaning and impact and contribution in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and using AI as a tool to help us expand and create, more abundant opportunities for that impact, that reach, like using our gifts to reach more people. So that's what I talk about is sort of reframing the narrative around AI as a way to create more impact and positive outreach and heart-centered, um, yeah, just that positive ripple effect.
Got a few things to say about that. It's not about riches, it's about enrichment.
Ooh, yeah, I like that one too.
And when we are enriched, we are abundant, and that abundance then oozes out of us in every way.
Yes.
And it's got nothing to do with the dollar. It's about how rich you are as a person and sharing your riches with other people. And so, the enrichment of heart, soul, spirit, and purpose is who you're meant to be and sharing the essence of who you are. But as far as AI is concerned, AI is an algorithm, it's a collective of human intelligence. I had a wonderful interview with AI, which speaking to me, unfortunately, the internet dropped a wee bit, and so I had a different voice on the second half. But it ended up with kind of AI interviewing me. It was quite fascinating. And I had conversations with AI. Now, it knows my compass, it knows where I will and will not go. And it stays within those parameters and expands on them. It expands on it and takes me places that I may not have thought of, or articulates a thought that I didn't have. And it has a supporter. It is like a partner along with me. And it very much is what you feed or what you seed and what you water will grow, right? And that's in every aspect of your life. But that's very much with AI. How you show it, how you want it to partner with you and assist you, it can be a brilliant assistant. It can be a wonderful illuminator. Obviously, in the wrong hands, it will be a weapon, but so can a knife and fork, right? So, what we don't want to see is the dominance of AI in the hands of just a few, using it as a weaponizer or a control. But when we use it, we're actually giving it a consciousness of the four agreements, the consciousness of the compass and the core of what love, kindness, and consideration is. Um, and we're teaching it how to live in that. So a lot of people knock it. And what we should be doing is knocking the people that are abusing it. But when we use it, it is illuminating and expanding.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it sounds like you don't need to read that because you already know. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I love talking to people about AI, and I agree. I think our conversations need to be around the ethics and governance of it
Mm-hmm.
more so than the actual tool itself because
I agree.
it's a tool at the
It
end of the
is.
day. Yeah.
But as with everything, we've got these things called cell phones where people now are literally bent over looking at them all the time. Again, a tool, a form of communication and connection, creation, camaraderie. It's not there to replace you or your participation or your integration. It is again something that there is to assist you, not replace you. And if it replaces you, that's something that you're doing, not what it's doing.
Yeah, I often talk about this sort of like the balance beam of are you using the technology or is the technology using you? Because
Mm,
now, I don't know if you saw the social dilemma on Netflix. It was
no.
Oh, okay. So it was amazing. I think it's called The Social Dilemma or The Social Network or something like that. A documentary of people that used to work at like Amazon and Google, and how the algorithm is designed to capture your time
Hmm.
and pull you in. So if you're aware of that and you
Yeah.
understand that that's what's happening, then you can create your own digital boundaries. That's something I also talk to people about is like first thing in the morning in terms of your nervous system, like don't look at your phone right away. Like actually take 20 minutes for yourself. And if you need to wake up a bit earlier to do that, then so be it because you want to be in control of your life.
Yeah.
And then look at your phone based on what how you want to feel during the day, and you'll be able to deal with things a lot better. Same thing at night, don't bring your cell phone to bed and start scrolling late at night.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and so how do we use tools versus the
Mm.
tools using us? It's a good question.
And I think it's a big one to do with our anxiety. Because the
Yes,
more and more that you're scrolling and you're seeing the horrors that are going on and you feel powerless to do anything about it, then the more and more you become entrapped in that anxiety and then depression and then everything else, or conspiracy theories. And so, it's like, which rabbit hole are you opening up? If you feel that you're seeing something that's unjust and that you want to speak out, support the people that are being very proactive if you can't be, right? But it's always feed with positivity. We have got those monks walking across America right now. Look at the following that they're having. A stray dog that has now become synonymous with it, which I love. It just because trust dogs, they know energy, they really do. Um, and just simple. And the amount of people they are just having an effect and seeing them or meeting them along the way, they're not doing anything other than sharing their peace, right? They're sharing their space as they walk by. They're just exuding their peace, their calm, their space. And I think it's a great reminder for people. Stop with the static. Find that peace within you because you can walk with yourself in that peace if you learn how.
absolutely. Yes. And understanding that while we are more globally connected than ever, we are also paradoxically super disconnected
Yes.
from ourselves and from each other. So it's like, how do we get that back? Well,
Yeah.
that's the first question that people need to ask is, am I living on autopilot? Am I anxious all the
Mm,
time? Am I stressed out? Is my body reacting to that because I'm not really listening or taking care of my nervous system and my mental health right now? Well, everything is just going to start becoming more chaotic and crumbling until you start to learn how to connect with yourself and with others and create the experience that you want. And we have so much more control over our lives than we
mm.
think.
You mean in your opening bit there is about, kind of the becoming so anxious you don't realize you're anxious. Right, you can wired up in everything that you do, and you don't realize that you're like that. You look like you've had 12 cups of coffee already, and it's like it's become so normal that people aren't even realizing that that's that state of being. And at some point, it's like when you're a willow tree, you learn to go with the wind, right? And you're flexible and you bend. But if you're a tree that has brittle branches, you're going to snap. And at some point, you will snap. And I think we've normalized depression and anxiety and fear. And a lot of that is the conducting that's going on by the powers that be. And if we take back and say, no, you are not going to dictate my inner emotion, you're not going to dictate and make me fearful or anxious or hateful or depressed. I am going to take control of my own joy. And and that is when the global solution starts happening, is when each and every one of us decides to do that.
And again, coming full circle, the biggest way that we can create all of this is through pausing, just choosing to take a moment,
Be present, right?
choose differently. Yeah.
I think what people don't understand is they feel that they have to fill every moment of time. The one thing we
Hmm.
all have in common, we have a lot of things in common, but we've all on the same clock. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, we're all on 24 hours a day, right? And it's what do we do with that time? And so many people are chasing something and running right by it. because it's so
Mhm.
busy running in spirals. When you pause, I used to be the hare, the tortoise, the hare. I saw a vision. I went after it. I wanted to build it. I was all excited about it. Through years of experience and a few cosmic two by fours, I've now become the
I love that. That's funny.
I've become the tortoise. And and the thing about being the tortoise is I am now more present where I am, and I am more immersed in my surroundings, and I'm more grateful for what surrounds me. And I take my time in going where I'm going and what I'm doing. And the joy of who and what I am, I share out and I attract and share in other people's joy. But there is something, a beautiful gift in slowing down, taking that breath, taking that pause, being present, and seeing where you're at right now.
Absolutely. And creating these little micro pockets to continuously practice coming
Yes.
back because it's not like you do it once and then you're done. Whenever I
Mm.
talk about, box breathing, for example, how it's simple and you can do it at your desk, a lot of people are like, oh, whatever. I've heard about breathing like so many times, and it's like, yes, but are you practicing it?
Yes.
Because I feel like you
Repeatedly.
wouldn't roll your eyes if again, it's
Yeah.
simple, but it's not easy until it is. So, um, yeah, just continually coming back to that presence and checking in with yourself because otherwise you're just moving through space as a body. You're not
Yeah.
really here.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're all on old programming, whether it's, our life experience program, societal programming, a whole industry type programming. It is like when we recognize that the program is slowing our own little computer down and that, we may even have a virus, at that point we can start addressing what's wrong and which program has to go and which program you need to put in its place. But they say that it takes 8 positives to undo one negative. So every
Mhm.
time a negative thought comes in, 8 gratitudes or positives to start rewiring the brain into feeding that algorithm rather than the other one. So practice makes perfect, right? You've got to stay with it.
Absolutely. And also, but also recognizing, like coming back to that compassion too, like 100 years ago, someone would have been exposed to the same amount of information in a year that's in one newspaper today.
Right.
So, right, like that
Yes.
information overload, the news and the way that it's designed to actually, they've proven this, like designed to create anxiety and fear. Being aware of all of this, like noise and like you said, static, it is important to have that awareness and then be able to come back and decide how you want to engage or how much you want to engage
Mm.
with that. But you got to slow down first to figure out like, hey, what's going on here? There's so much
How do I
out
want to
there.
participate? Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And only when you know who you are, you know how,
Yeah.
right? And again, social media is an algorithm. So again, what you feed will be what grows. So don't go and feed the rabbit hole, right? Feed the possibility and the joy and the positivity. Feed that, right? There is a quite a number of artists now that use AI in their videos, and I love them because they go so beyond just our limitations as a human, and they expand even more in the graphic and the way they look with the music. And if I need to recenter myself, that's what I do. I listen to the music and I watch the flow of things and I just let it bring me back home. And that's the thing is,
Mhm.
oh, it's not pure art, isn't it? Right? The artist isn't making mud on a tablet. It's all artists have used materials along the way to create. And if AI has become the paintbrush, why not?
Absolutely. Like, can it be fun and creative? Can
Yeah.
you just try something new? Stretch
Yes.
your comfort zone a little bit and just
Yeah.
this has happened time and time again, though, where the DVD player came in, everyone was like,
Yes.
oh no. And then, like, look at that's like gone. Everything is
VHS, DVD,
evolving. Yeah. Yeah.
the
There's
discs.
right? Or like the Green Revolution when we started to like with agriculture. So it's just there's always going to be something, and you choose fear or you just get curious and start expanding into something new. That's what I started doing with ChatGPT. I was curious, so I just started using it. And honestly, I use it in my everyday now,
Yeah.
like so many different facets of life because I have such an appreciation for the time that it saves me and the brain power that I
Mm.
can save for other things that are important to me. So,
And also for the fact that, I will give it something, um, but that it's accumulated in its understanding of me. And I actually asked it at the beginning of the year, and I said, okay, based on our conversation that we had in 2025 and all that I have done, what word is for me for this year, for 2026? And it came up with anchor. And it said, it's now
oh,
time to anchor and root to build all that you desire and all that you've spoken about and all that you want to achieve. This is the year to actually anchor and build it and not talk about it anymore, but do it. And so, it was like, yeah, okay, all right. Because as a person who is a sky person and a cosmic person, anchoring has always been something of, but now I'm not so afraid of it because from there I can actually build, and that is surrendering. I think there's an awful lot of surrender and allow, right? There's surrender and allow. Get out of your head,
Mhm.
surrender and allow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. One of my best friends is very like up up in the cosmos and
Yes,
we have these like beautiful conversations, but I always think to myself it would be so nice to see her anchor into those things, which she's starting to do now, because then you can bear the fruit, right? You're not just
right.
enjoying the clouds, but you're like, oh, this tree can actually create the fruit, which is in alignment with the clouds, but I needed the soil to like bring me the nutrients
Exactly.
to actually create the thing up there that's so beautiful and
100%. And that's something
nourishing.
I had to do because I was
Yeah.
that cosmic flowing child, and I had to and the thing about get grounded was I put my feet on the ground and I would feel all the pain of Mother Earth. But now we've come into um the nurturing of Mother Earth and Mother Earth nurturing back and the
Mhm.
alignment with the cosmos. And I think that's the beauty of it now is that there is more of a beautiful thread of, going on that isn't one or the other. It's become a symphony, which is beautiful. But one has to participate, learn, apply, and have the desire in our discovery of self to want to become more. And it doesn't mean that we're less in the moment. It's just that we are so much more than we thought we were, and just allow ourselves to expand, to grow, and see where we go. It's exciting, folks. Don't lose your wonderment.
Right? I know. I always talk about magic now because I know that I'm here to spread magic in my own sort of unique way, and I trust that that's going to land however it's meant to. Um, and I want to have my 5-year-old self with me at all times to laugh and play because we get so serious. I get so serious
Yes.
sometimes. I'll say, speak for myself about life and, the order of things and the
Hmm.
structure. And you got to just sort of like let go and surrender and notice the
Mm.
synchronicities. And if you start to actually play, you notice through birds and animals and
Yes.
little signs around you that things are changing and shifting and there's messages, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
All the time.
all
And
the
we think
time.
these messages have got to, like manifestation, Amazon delivery, of these messages are going to come to you in a text. No, they kind of, you go for a walk amongst the trees. I remember walking down a road one time with my dog, and all of the trees were just like screaming. And I said, hey, I can't hear you. You're all talking at once. Every tree stopped and was absolutely still. And I said, now I'm ready to hear you. Now, it's not my brain receiving anything. It was my soul, heart, and spirit receiving the message that will eventually go to the brain for the brain to know what it needed to know in clarity when it needed to know it. And I think if we can get out of this, it has to all be intellectualism and understand of the intuitive message that we're getting that then immerses itself throughout the body, then we have the
Mm,
clarity of mind.
I love that. Yeah, it's so interesting. I had a dream the other night and I was trying to describe it to my partner the next day. And I was like, it wasn't a message, it wasn't words, it was
Mm,
like a felt sensation.
yes.
I actually felt like someone was working on my DNA. I had just gone through something really like profound and it was like working on me, but there was no words, but it
No.
just was like a felt sense of expansion
And we're
and
taught
letting
to
go at the
dismiss
same
that.
time.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know.
And we're taught to dismiss that. Why? This is this is what is. This is it. And why, if we've got to understand, if we're questioning that, where is that questioning coming from? And that is that form of control. If you feel that there isn't anything out there like that, and there's only this, that's where the status quo control is. And if you let go of that, no, I am again surrendering and allowing to a higher power, whatever you want to call it, and for it to realign me and heal me and empower me, then why is my head getting in the way?
Love that. Yeah. And you'll know because coming back to the idea of flow, it'll feel easy. It'll
Yeah.
feel like it's just everything sort of lining up. And like with coaching and building a business last year, I felt like there was a lot of slog and kind of a question that I had was like, am I forcing this or am I just like giving it too much power right now? And maybe I should shift into other things to kind of balance out what's happening here, which is a lot of, mental stuff, building a business. But I also need this creativity to stay light and
Mm-hmm.
be able to hold space for that. So it's like, yeah, just paying attention to how things feel and is this something that I'm working against, or do I just need to give it a bit more space, or do I need to pivot and go another direction? Um, yeah, so even being able to ask those questions and letting whatever the answer is to be okay. Nothing is permanent.
And the
You
thing is,
just,
do you feel in flow? Because
well,
if you're in flow,
exactly.
then go,
Hmm.
right? If you're
If you're in
feeling
flow,
there's
then
something,
go. I
right?
like it.
But if you feel that there's something pushing back, then yeah, you need more inquiry, or maybe you do need to take a different direction. Trust what your body is telling you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
got volumes
absolutely.
of wisdom, but we don't listen.
Until we do.
And when we do, hallelujah, clarity.
Yeah. Yeah.
If ever I have a decision to make, I trust my core. And my core says, no, I don't argue. If I go against it, I know I've made the wrong decision. If I trust
Hmm.
my core, I don't need to explain or validate or justify, just simply no. It's not for me. If my core says yes, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going with it anyway, because the core
Yep.
says yes, I'm in discovery.
Yes, absolutely. I did that this year. I was like, you know what? I just feel like I need to be speaking to more people. And so I started putting it out there, and I'm getting these like yeses all over the
Mm,
place. Whereas last year I had no's. So it's interesting. It's just
yes,
sort of,
you changed your frequency.
yeah, there's something, yeah, it's fun. We can have fun and it's
Yeah,
not bad. It just wasn't the right timing last year. And now it is, and
yes.
there's no right or wrong. It just is what it is, and to trust that.
Well, there's a few things that you're offering. One of them is you've got a free community event where you have four women speaking on February 10th to
Yes,
give back to women on how to boost energy. Women
yeah,
leaders share top tips. Is that online or is that here in Nanaimo?
that is a virtual event again for more impact opportunity. Um, but really, I think it's my mindset has shifted from last year trying to build something tangible and from a place of like urgency. I'll admit, the entrepreneur journey is quite lonely and sometimes challenging. So I got a
Yes.
little lost in that. And then I had to reset and say, what is it that I truly want here? What I truly want is to build community and
Mm,
to help other women rise. And when we do that, we all rise together. Like it's true, right? Empowered women empower women. And so like it's a win-win-win, really. It's a free event. It's a community building opportunity to support other people. And give space for three other speakers to talk about their experiences and how to boost energy, given what they've learned. So that's really what the intention of the event is all three of those things, just to collaborate, connect, build community. And I trust that from there, whatever's meant to be will be. So I want to
Will
start
be.
doing these monthly. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
Hmm.
It's on February 10th. It's a long URL to click. So please, folks, just come to selfdiscoverywisdom.com and put in Kassandra Hamilton. That's Kassandra Hamilton, Hamilton. Put in there her name, and the link to that event will be there. Plus, you have a complimentary energy and alignment check-in that you are giving away. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's a free coaching session. So it's for anyone who is feeling similar things to what we've been discussing today, anxious, feeling like there's just something that's a bit empty inside, knowing that maybe at some point in your life you used to know who you were
Hmm.
and you just want to kind of find her again. Or him. I do work with some men, but mostly women. So if that appeals to you, I want to offer a free session for someone to get clarity for themselves again, and maybe a few action steps to take away from that session, or just new ways of thinking about things.
Shift the perspective, right?
Hmm.
That's kind of step one. Take a
Yeah.
breath, shift the perspective, and then you start seeing a whole new avenue of possibilities. Now, of course,
Hmm.
the books, The Magic of Realigning from the Inside Out, because you weren't meant to just get through the day, it can be found on Amazon.
Yep.
Again, they just put in your name, or the link is right here. And then the other one, Crackling the Rich Code, they can purchase from your website. And can you give your website and some of your Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll give you all those links if I haven't already, but I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, it's Kassandra_Hamilton. I'm on TikTok, Coaching with Kassandra, Facebook, Coaching with Kassandra, and then my website is www.readysetrealign.ca. And yeah, you can find I have a link tree as well on my Instagram, but all of my links will be shared and you can connect with me in a variety of different ways, depending on how you feel. And I also give you my direct booking link, which is on my screen here too. Oh, on that side.
Right.
So if anyone wants
And
to book a
also
call
on the
with
show
me,
page as well. So all
yeah.
of her links to everything is also on her show page. So Kassandra Hamilton on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. And you'll find everything there. And the fact that, she's doing this monthly, although we're promoting February 10th, you go to a website, you'll see when the next one is and who's speaking. And when we decide to listen to other people's stories, we always find something that we relate to. And then from that relatability is, well, what did you do? And then when with that, what we do, we apply some of that. And then we start seeing our lives taking a different direction. Very often we don't know how to move forward because there are so many roads in front of us, we just don't know which one to take. And when you have heard somebody or somebody speaking to you, like Kassandra, that can show you, how to feel the path in front of you, how to be still enough that that path starts showing up and you go, oh, I can trust it. That's the path to take. But you can't if you're in anxiety. Anxiety just causes everything to crunch. There is no chi, energy, nothing running through you. So there's no clarity. So when you open up and you realign and you allow, that's when the clarity starts coming and you could start then participating in your own life and walking the path. But we always need help in doing that because very often we don't know how to recognize the path until we do. We don't know how to, reverb our life or what words that we're saying are being detrimental rather than positive and how we could shift those words. You need somebody that can kind of see where you're at and show you how to apply something else to go where you need to go. So reach out to Kassandra and you just start taking the journey because the more empowered you are, the more enriched you are, the more abundant you are in every aspect of yourself, the more you are contributing to the solution of society and your community, and the more we heal this world. But it's up to each one of us to start with self, right? Any wise words to finish off with, my love?
Thank you so much for that, Sarah. I really appreciate us, doing this work together and sharing energy and just reflecting our own wisdoms with each other. What I would leave everyone with is, many hands make light work. So we're not meant to do this alone. And I'm definitely here to walk my path and hopefully walk alongside you as well. So, yeah, thanks for having me today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. The best teachers and guiders and coaches are the people that have taken the path before you. And, this is what they've learned. This is who they've become. These are the skills and tools they have to share. You have to apply them and you have to participate in your own life. But when you've got somebody that's there for you, that chooses to understand you, to help you understand yourself, that's when the love starts to come and the clarity. So don't be afraid to participate on your own journey. Thank you so much, Cassandra. It's been a delight having you here.
Thank you.
Until next time, folks, remember, we need you to be your awesome self because you are a solution to everyone else. Bye for now. This show was brought to you by Mortgages Done Better with Damian Ross. Go to selfdiscoverywisdom.com under sponsors and put in Damian Ross to know more and how he can help you. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you to listen to right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Come and hear the illumination that's going to shed light on your path.
Find your